Hi everyone, this is Miss S from Excelsior Charter School, and today we're going to be covering Geometry, Lesson 6-1 on classifying quadrilaterals. This is all the vocabulary we're going to be going through today that you need to include in your notes. First of all, a quadrilateral is a four-sided figure. So we've moved away from triangles now, we've moved to quadrilaterals. And we'll begin today with a parallelogram. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. So as you can see here, the left-hand side and the right-hand side are parallel, and the top and the bottom are parallel. So this is a parallelogram. A rhombus is a parallelogram with four congruent sides. So as you can see here, all of the sides are the same, and what they don't print is that the top and the bottom are parallel, and the left and the right are also parallel. And you know that because a rhombus is a parallelogram. A rectangle is a parallelogram with four right angles. So just like all parallelograms, the top and the bottom are parallel, the left and the right are parallel. And in this case, a rectangle has four right angles. A square is a parallelogram with four congruent sides and four right angles. So again, the top and the bottom are parallel, the left and the right are parallel. These ones have four congruent sides, just like a rhombus had, but this one has four right angles, just like a rectangle had, and that's a square. Now, a kite is not a parallelogram because it doesn't have opposite sides being parallel. A kite is a quadrilateral with two pairs of adjacent sides that are congruent, but no opposite sides that are congruent. So what that means is that the top side, left and right, are congruent, and the bottom part, left and right, are congruent, but there are no parallel lines here, and the opposite sides are not congruent in a kite. Our last two shapes are both trapezoids. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral with one pair of parallel sides. So as you can see here, the top and the bottom are parallel, but the left and the right side are not parallel. So this is a trapezoid, and those parallel sides, just so you know, are called bases. Our last shape today is an isosceles trapezoid. So if you notice here, one pair of opposite sides are parallel, the other are not. However, the other, since it's an isosceles trapezoid, the other sides are congruent. So the non-parallel sides are congruent. All right, so here is a little figure that goes over all the different quadrilaterals that we just talked about, and it just gives you some ideas of what they all have, what all their information is. This is the one that you'll find in your textbook. It's kind of flipped backwards left to right, but it covers everything here. They're all quadrilaterals, and so we have a kite over here to the right. It's kind of on its own branch here. There is nothing else that follows a kite. Our middle branch here, the trapezoids, we have trapezoids and isosceles trapezoids in the same kind of family. Kites have no parallel lines, and trapezoids have one set of parallel lines. And then if we go over here on the left-hand side, we find all the parallelograms, kind of a parallelogram family here. And the parallelogram family all has two pairs of parallel sides. And the last thing I wanted to go over with you guys is that parallelogram family. In this parallelogram family, there are some relationships that I wanted to point out. So parallelograms can be a rhombus, which of course has all four sides equal, and a square is also a rhombus because it has all four sides equal. And then we can also go to the right-hand side here, a rectangle, which has the four right angles. And a square is also a rectangle because it has four right angles as well. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. All right, this question comes from your lesson. It says the quadrilateral is a rhombus and they want you to solve. So because we know it's a rhombus, we know that all of the sides are equal. And so we want to solve for A. You can do the sides here. So we'll have 3a plus 8 equals 5a plus 4. And then we can solve that using algebra to get a equals 2. And when you want to do the b sides here, we'll put those equal to each other as well. So 3b plus 2 equals 4b minus 2. And we'll get that b equals 4 when we do our algebra. And since it's a rhombus, all the sides have to be the same. And if we plug in the a equals 2 or the b equals 4 for any of these, what we'll find is that each of these sides equals 14. So I did that over here in yellow and in blue. I plugged in the 2 for A and I plugged in the 4 for B. And either way, we get 14. All right, this one actually comes from your practice, and it says graph the quadrilateral with the given vertices and write the most precise name for it in the space provided. So let's go ahead and graph these vertices. So here I've graphed all those vertices, and we're going to go ahead and connect these dots to form our quadrilateral. So assuming that what it looks like is what it is, I would definitely say this was a trapezoid, but because this is geometry, we can't make assumptions, so we'll have to do some math to determine the slope of all the lines and then, if possible, the distance for the lines as well. So EH and FG are both horizontal lines, and all horizontal lines have a slope of 0, so EH and FG are in fact parallel, so this is so far looking like it's trapezoid. For the left and the right, we have a slope of 1 and -1, which is certainly not the same thing, so those are not parallel. So I would so far say this is definitely a trapezoid. For EH and for FG, I found the distance between each of the 2 points simply by counting the boxes because these are horizontal lines. For FE and HG, the left and the right-hand side, though, we'll have to use the distance formula. And when you do the distance formula, or when you use a distance formula calculator, you get that the distance for EF and HG is both the square root of 32, which means these two sides are congruent, making this an isosceles trapezoid. So I've put that down here, and you will type that into the box and make sure that you spell it correctly. Good luck, everybody. I hope you guys all do great.